One moment, a board meeting. The next, a woman in a designer suit had her finger inches from the waitress's face, and 30 executives watched in frozen horror as the camera light blinked green, recording everything that came next. The glass of water trembled on the tray. 30 faces in tiny squares, mouths open, fingers hovering over keyboards. But the young black woman, holding that tray, didn't flinch. Her dark eyes didn't beg. They locked on the blonde woman with a calm so unsettling it felt like staring into a hurricane's eye. Those eyes had seen boardrooms far more hostile than this. Negotiations that would make this woman's corporate theatrics look like a child's tantrum. Hidden beneath that modest black uniform and white apron was a woman groomed since childhood to inherit an empire worth $3 billion. Victoria Ashford, desperate to climb one more rung on the corporate ladder, had just made the fatal mistake of underestimating the help. 3 hours earlier, the Manhattan penthouse had been quiet. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the skyline like a living painting. Marble floors caught the afternoon sun. This was wealth that didn't scream. It whispered, and everyone listened. Maya Chen stood in the kitchen of the penthouse that technically belonged to her family's corporation. 26 years old, her mother's sharp cheekbones, her father's calculating eyes. But today she wasn't Maya Chen, heiress to the Chinook-4 fortune. Today she was Maya, the temp waitress hired through an agency, paid $12 an hour to serve coffee and keep her mouth shut. Her father had called 2 weeks ago with an unusual request. I need you to work the Sterling acquisition meeting. As staff. Anonymous. You want me to spy on your own board meeting? I want you to see who people really are when they think no one important is watching. That edge in his voice meant he'd already made up his mind, already seen something troubling. 6 months ago, Victoria tried to undermine Patricia's diversity initiative. I need to know if it was incompetence or something worse. So here she was, smoothing down a uniform she'd ordered online, preparing refreshments for a meeting that would determine whether Chinook-4 Industries acquired Sterling Tech, a company valued at $800 million. Her father would join via Zoom from Singapore. Other board members would call in remotely. But Victoria Ashford, vice president of acquisitions, had insisted on hosting from the corporate penthouse she'd been using as if it were her own. Maya had met Victoria twice before, at galas where Maya wore Dior and Victoria wore desperation masked as confidence. Victoria had complimented her dress both times, never bothering to remember her face. That was the thing about people like Victoria. They only saw you if you could do something for them. The doorbell chimed. Victoria swept in, blonde hair in a severe bun. Designer suit costing more than most people's monthly rent. Heels clicking like a countdown to detonation. Phone to her ear, laughing that practice laugh. Absolutely, darling. The Chen deal is as good as mine. Once David sees my presentation, I'll be the youngest CFO in company history. She paused, noticing Maya. Her smile stayed fixed, but her eyes did that thing. That quick assessment reducing a person to their usefulness. Oh, the help is here. I'll call you back. She extended her phone toward Maya like handing garbage to a trash bin. Be a dear and plug this in somewhere. It's dying, and I need it at 100% for her after meeting. Very important calls. Maya took it silently, noting the lock screen. Victoria accepting some mid-tier corporate award. She plugged into the kitchen outlet, out of sight but within earshot. You do speak English, don't you? Victoria's tone was sweet, but with that unmistakable edge. Yes, ma'am. Good. When the meeting starts, I need you invisible. Don't speak unless spoken to. Don't make eye contact with the camera. And for God's sake, don't drop anything. This meeting determines my entire future. A tight smile. No pressure. But if you embarrass me, I'll make sure you never work in the city again. Maya nodded, swallowing words that could end this woman's career in a single sentence. Not yet. The meeting began at 3 p.m. sharp. Maya dimmed the lights, set up the laptop at the head of the dining table, and retreated to the kitchen doorway. Close enough to serve, far enough to be forgotten. Victoria's face transformed the moment the camera turned on. Harsh lines softened, calculating eyes warmed. She became the woman everyone thought she was. Competent, charming, trustworthy. Good afternoon, everyone. David. Thank you for joining us from Singapore. I know it's late there. David Chen's face appeared in the largest square. Silver-haired, 61, with eyes that missed nothing. Maya's father. He nodded politely. Let's begin, Victoria. I'm eager to hear your assessment. Other faces populated the grid. Board members Maya recognized from quarterly reports. Jackson Wei, CFO. Patricia Okoye, head of legal. Marcus Stone, senior VP. 12 in total, all watching, all waiting. Victoria launched into her presentation. Numbers flashed. Her voice never wavered. Not a stutter, not a pause. Maya watched the performance, and that's exactly what it was. Every gesture calculated. Every smile timed. The woman was good at this. But then she got comfortable. Too comfortable. And frankly, the Sterling team lacks the sophistication to see their own company's potential. They're small-town thinkers playing in a big-city game. She laughed, and a few board members chuckled along. Their CEO still uses BlackBerry. A BlackBerry? Maya's jaw tightened. Sterling Tech was based in Detroit, founded by a black woman who'd bootstrap her way from nothing. Victoria was reducing brilliance to geography, innovation to accessories. But that works in our favor. They'll be grateful for our guidance. They need someone to show them how real business is done. Marcus Stone's face shifted. Victoria, real business meaning. Meaning professional, polished. That edge crept into her voice. The Sterling CEO is, well, let's just say she has potential but lacks refinement. We'd obviously restructure leadership. Maya's hand tightened on the water pitcher. Her father's face remained neutral, but she knew that look. He was cataloging every word. Victoria, David's voice came through, measured. Are you suggesting Jamila Sterling, a woman who grew her company from a garage startup to $800 million in valuation, lacks business acumen? Victoria's smile flickered. Not at all, David. I'm simply saying there's a difference between scrappy entrepreneurship and corporate leadership. We'd be doing her a favor, really, bringing her into our ecosystem, teaching her the ropes. The temperature dropped 10 degrees. Patricia Okoye went very still. That's when Maya's phone buzzed. Loud. 3 times in rapid succession. Victoria's head whipped around. Her professional mask slipped. I thought I said invisible. Can you not control your phone during a business meeting? Maya set down the pitcher. Walked calmly to the kitchen. Silenced her phone. My apologies, ma'am. Your apologies? Do you have any idea how important this meeting is? Do you have any idea who I am? Yes, ma'am. I don't think you do. Victoria stood, and Maya saw it, the moment when fear of losing control manifests as rage. The meeting wasn't going as planned. Marcus questioning her. David's pointed silence. Patricia's disapproval radiating through the screen. And now this, a disruption she couldn't control. People like you just coast through life, doing the bare minimum, completely oblivious to how the real world works. You probably think serving coffee is a career. The Zoom call went silent. 30 people watching, not sure whether to intervene or look away. Maya felt her heartbeat slow, the way it always did before a calculated move. I apologize for the interruption, ma'am. That's it? That's all you have to say? No excuses about your probably baby daddy blowing up your phone? No sob story about your difficult life? And there it was. The racism Victoria had been coding in professional language, now naked and ugly. Marcus Stone's voice cut through. Victoria, that's completely. It's fine, Marcus. This is my meeting, and I won't have the help disrespecting. Your meeting? Maya's voice, when she finally spoke, was quiet. Calm. The kind of calm that made smart people nervous. This is a corporate apartment, Ms. Ashford. You don't own it. Victoria's face flushed. Excuse me? You said my meeting. It belongs to Chinocafor Industries. You're a participant, not the owner. The Zoom call went so quiet you could hear breathing through microphones. Victoria's laugh was sharp, brittle. Oh, so you're an expert on corporate structure now? What's next? You're going to tell me how to run my presentation. She turned toward the camera. Performing now. This is exactly what I'm talking about. People who don't know their place. who think a few TikTok videos about business make them understand acquisitions. I don't use TikTok, but I do read the Wall Street Journal, MIT Technology Review, SEC filings. Victoria blinked. What? I understand that Sterling Tech's true value isn't their current revenue. It's a proprietary AI algorithm for sustainable energy distribution that Ms. Sterling developed herself. I understand she turned down a $1.2 billion offer from Apex Corp last year because she knew her company was worth more. Maya's eyes locked on Victoria's. And I understand that your presentation completely missed the patents they're filing next month that will revolutionize grid storage. Each sentence landed like a hammer. Victoria's face cycled through confusion, anger, panic. Where did you, that's privileged. The patent filings are public record, if you know where to look. The Apex offer was reported in the Wall Street Journal. The algorithm's potential was covered in MIT Technology Review 3 months ago. Maya paused. I read. Victoria's hands clenched into fists. You little. Who do you think you're talking to? I have an MBA from Harvard. I've closed deals worth hundreds of millions. I don't need some waitress with an internet connection telling me how to do my job. You're right. You need someone with an MBA from Harvard, experience closing deals, and the wisdom not to dismiss a woman's entire company because she's from Detroit and black. I never said. You said she lacked refinement, that she needed to be taught the ropes. You reduced her decade of work to scrappy entrepreneurship. Maya's voice never rose, but filled the room. What you meant was that she didn't go to the right schools, didn't have the right connections, didn't look like you, and that, Ms. Ashford, is why this acquisition will fail if you're leading it. Victoria's face went from red to white. You're fired. You're done. I'll make sure you never work. Ms. Ashford. David Chen's voice cut through the laptop speaker like a knife. I think that's enough. Victoria spun toward the camera, remembering her audience. David, I apologize. This woman was completely out of line, and She's right. Victoria blinked. I'm sorry about Sterling Tech, about the patents, about your presentation, missing the primary acquisition value. He paused. And about your assessment of Jamila Sterling. Victoria's professional mask tried to reassemble itself, but her hands were shaking. David, I think there's been a misunderstanding. The only misunderstanding is yours. You assume that because someone is serving coffee, they don't matter. You assume that because someone is black, they need your guidance. You assumed this company would bend to your prejudice because you smile for cameras and went to Harvard. David, please, I didn't mean... Let me ask you something, Victoria. Do you know who specifically requested that temp agency send Maya today? Victoria's face went blank. I assumed HR. I did. Specifically. Do you know why? The truth was dawning on Victoria's face like a slow-motion car crash. Because I wanted to see how my executives behave when they think no one important is watching. I want to know who you really are, Victoria. And you've shown me. David, I swear I didn't mean this isn't who I... Maya, would you mind adjusting the camera so everyone can see you properly? Maya walked calmly to the laptop, angled it so her face filled half the screen alongside her father's. For 3 seconds, nobody spoke. Then Jackson Way inhaled sharply. Patricia Okoye's hand went to her mouth. Marcus Stone started to smile. The resemblance wasn't subtle. The same eyes, that penetrating gaze seeing through pretense. The same bone structure visible in David Chen's decades-old Forbes cover photo. The same calm intensity that made people either trust them completely or fear them deeply. Everyone, I believe most of you have met my daughter, though perhaps not in this context. Victoria made a sound like all the air had left her body. Maya Chen, Yale undergrad, Harvard MBA, same program as you, Victoria, though she graduated top of her class. Currently vice president of strategic acquisitions for Chinook4 Industries. He paused. And as of next quarter, my successor as CEO. The board members' faces showed respect, embarrassment, and, from Patricia and Marcus, barely suppressed satisfaction. Your market analysis was thorough, Victoria, but it was built on a foundation of contempt. You can't lead an acquisition if you don't respect what you're acquiring. And you certainly can't represent this company if you think anyone's value is determined by their job title or the color of their skin. Victoria's eyes filled with tears, not sadness, but humiliation and rage. This isn't fair. You set me up. I gave you an opportunity to be decent. You chose otherwise. Patricia, send the termination paperwork within the hour. Maya, you'll take over the Sterling acquisition. Yes, sir. Victoria stood frozen, staring at 30 faces watching her unravel. Then she grabbed her purse. Her hand shook so badly she dropped it. Twice. Picked it up. Her leg seemed unsteady. Mascara had started to run, leaving dark tracks down her cheeks. She stumbled toward the door, but before she reached it, she stopped. Turned. Her face was blotchy, her carefully constructed image completely shattered. I have black friends. I voted for Obama. Twice. I didn't mean I'm not racist. The words tumbled out desperate, pathetic. Maya met her eyes, held them, let the silence stretch until it hurt. Then you have no idea how much work you have to do. Victoria's face crumpled. She turned and left. The door clicked shut with a finality that sounded like an ending. The Zoom call erupted, voices overlapping, questions flying. David raised a hand. We'll reconvene tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. Maya will lead. That's all. He disconnected. One by one, the squares went dark until only Marcus Stone remained. Your father's a brilliant man. And that was surgical. Thank you, Marcus. Are you okay? Maya thought about it, about the words Victoria had thrown at her, about the assumptions, the contempt, the casual cruelty of someone who'd never had to question their place in the world. I'm angry, but I'm also hopeful. Why hopeful? Because 30 people just watch what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. They watch what happens when prejudice clouds judgment. And they watch what happens when the person you're underestimating is the one holding your future in her hands. She smiled slightly. That's a lesson that spreads. After Marcus disconnected, Maya stood alone in the penthouse. The sun was setting, painting Manhattan in gold and shadow. She looked at the chair where Victoria had sat, so confident 3 hours ago. Her phone buzzed, a text from her father. Proud of you. Also, Jamila Sterling just called. She saw the video. She wants to meet you tomorrow. Maya smiled. She changed out of the waitress uniform, folded it carefully, and left it on the table. A reminder that every person you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about, climbing a ladder you can't see, carrying dreams you'll never understand unless you choose to look. Victoria's phone, still plugged into the kitchen outlet, buzzed endlessly. The video was already spreading. By tomorrow morning, Victoria Ashford's name will be synonymous with corporate racism, a cautionary tale taught in business schools for years to come. And somewhere in Detroit, a black woman entrepreneur who'd been told her entire life she lacked refinement was probably smiling, knowing that someone finally saw her worth. Tomorrow, Maya will put on her real suit, step into her real role, and lead an acquisition built on respect instead of contempt. Tomorrow, she would show that you could be powerful and decent, ambitious and kind. But tonight, she stood in that penthouse and understood something her father had been trying to teach her for years. The truest measure of character isn't how you treat your equals. It's how you treat those you think are beneath you. And that revelation always comes when people least expect it. Witnessed by everyone who matters. Recorded for everyone who needs to see it. Have you ever been underestimated because of your job, your background, or the color of your skin? Because in the end, character reveals itself, and that revelation is always, always witnessed.